Oh, good day, everyone. I hope you are doing well. But okay, before we proceed, before we dive into the depths of this presentation or discussion, let me introduce myself. Once again, I am March Ivan Carl Dayundon, aka Mikmik, or that is MIK, taken from the first letter of my three names. Okay, so in this presentation, let us try to define what is training and development and the importance. Why is it important to have training and development and its goals? Moving on to the introduction to training and development. So, what is training and development? So actually, this word is not a strange one. This is not a new concept. Mm. Because as a member of our respective organizations or respective institutions, departments, I believe we had underwent trainings before. So we already have our own perceptions of what is training and development. But to define this, it is said that it is the process of improving employee skills, employee knowledge, and competencies. So tatlo. But to sum it up, these three key areas equate to or translate to performance. So in short, it is the process of improving employee performance. But let us first differentiate what is the difference among these three key terms. No? So unsa man yung mga skills? So I'll just give some examples para mas madali. Okay. Example, in the performance of my duties and responsibilities as administrative officer, one of the basic requirements is one must have a good communication skills. Another one, in generation of reports, in submission of reports, one must be proficient in computer operations. Those are the basic requirements or basic skill requirements in the performance of our duties as administrative officer or in every offices. Oh, unsa palain na example. If you're into the food industry, then most likely, if you want to satisfy your customers, your end users, to satisfy their stomach, then you might considering looking for someone who has cooking skills. Oh. And actually, no, skills differs from one another. There there has to be some level of proficiency set no, by the management. Oh, okay, screen man. And it is also a basis for potential training or possible training if the proficiency level is not that high or it does not meet the minimum requirement. Sa pailain, carpentry or carpenter or a carpenter no means must have a carpentry skills. If you're looking for a programmer, then you might be considering looking for for someone who has programming skills. If you want to mobilize your trucks, your delivery trucks, then you might considering looking for driving skills. So as you can see, skills are something that are necessary to perform a specific task, to complete a task, to perform a function, mm, to fulfill a role. So there is an execution, an action there happens more on, it is more on bodily kinesthetic, no? So na effort in terms of action. While knowledge naman differs from skills, is that it does not necessarily mean put into action. It is more on theoretical understanding. It is more on cognitive in the activity of the mind. For example, in my line of work, I have knowledge in disbursement process. Alam ko, step 1, step 2, step 3. Oh, the steps, the processes, those are knowledge. Another example is if you possess a critical information that might be useful in the operation or confidential information, those are knowledge or updated approaches towards uh, uh, anything, no? Because sometimes Mango, the information today that we have, the processes that we have, might become obsolete in the next coming years. So to be abreast with the changing trends of today's necessity or of today's era. So those are examples of knowledge that is more on activity of the mind. It is on theoretical understanding. The other one is competencies. Competencies is a more complex one. It is a combination of skills and knowledge. But it is not limited to these two. It encompasses attitudes, values, behavior. Because there are some things that must be done, must be executed based on knowledge. One must have knowledge in doing something, then executed through your skills, and then after and this execution varies from one another because knowledge, we could have the same knowledge and we could have the same level of proficiency in terms of skills, but in the execution and approach towards a certain function or role, we varies because we varies from values and cultures and attitudes and all. So those are the things that falls under the competencies. So one example of this is leadership skill. No, all leaders might have the same knowledge towards something, the same skills, but they differ from competencies because they differ from approaches, they differ from attitudes, they have different beliefs and values. So ganun yun ka-complex yung competencies. So leadership skills, for example, if you are good at influencing others, to follow you, or you have a charismatic, you are a charismatic leader, you're able to motivate others. That is a competency. Because being a leader requires you to have a knowledge, and that knowledge must be executed and put into action with a specific skill requirement. And in the execution of that function or skill, so doon nag-integrate, nag-iiba yung approaches because we vary from attitudes and values and beliefs. So those are competencies. So na may uban man gud nga leader, but they vary on the approaches. They vary on the effectiveness in terms of leadership roles. Another one is problem solving skills. It falls to competencies. Now, if you are good at solving issues, addressing problems, complaints from your clients and customers, then you might have a good problem solving skills. Uh, because sometimes we have a common understanding, we have a common knowledge on how to solve a problem, and we have also a common skills, but we don't have a common approaches or the same attitude and beliefs. So kung mas effective si employee A compared ni employee B in terms of addressing issues and concerns from the clients or customers, then one must be better in terms of problem solving skills. So those are competencies. And its importance is it enhances employee performance, of course, no, and satisfaction. Because a satisfied employee is a happy employee, and a happy employee is a productive employee. And when the employee is happy, then the retention will be increased or the turnover rate will likely be decreased, if not fully eradicated. Okay. Kasi pag wala kasing training and development, the employee will not be performing well and maybe might not be fit into the company's culture or objectives. Possibly muhawa na po na siya. And the goals, of course, to align employees towards organizational goals. mission and vision, and prepare them for future roles. Because there will come a time that the the older or the senior employees will likely to retire. And then if these key employees will retire, then the operations might be impaired. So you must prepare those employees in the succeeding line, no? Now for future roles through training and development for continuous harmonious operations of the company or organization. Orientation of newly hired employees. So what is the purpose of having an orientation, no, for our newly hired employees? The very purpose of this is for them to be informed or to provide necessary information. Now, of course, no, for them to be able to blend in into the company's culture. Kaya basin ma-culture shock si employee. And most likely after that, no, basin muhawa will leave the company, and that will contribute to the high turnover rate of the company. And that is not a good indicator. Okay, so and this information are the following: the company policies. So what are the do's and don'ts? What are the prohibited ones? The rules and regulations, the dress code, and all. And procedures. So it refers to the standard operating procedures. Ano yung galawan sa loob? So paano yung nangyayari sa loob? So they must be well informed about that, as well as the role expectations and responsibilities. It must be well communicated to them to what is the level of performance that is expected from them, as well as the roles, no, specific roles and responsibilities. Kasi if they are deployed to their workplaces or workstations without having an orientation, basin lang performance is bare minimum lang. And most likely they will not be able to function accordingly because they do not know what is their role in the company, as well as the introductions to team and key contacts. This must be well informed also to who are these people in the top management, or in the middle management, and all. Oh, if because if there is a concern, specific issues and concern, then you will know kung saan ka pupunta. If you have, if you want, if you have some reports to be submitted, then you will know to to what person or to whom you will submit your report. So those are the things now that must be well communicated to the employees. And the benefits of this is of course not to reduce, or it can reduce turnover. Hindi maraming aalis because one of the hardest uh, stage or experience as a newly hired employee is yung walang nagtuturo sa'yo. Walang nag-orient sa'yo. Mahirap yon because you will not feel nga part of the company. Oh, and most likely it will add to that turnover rate. Of Another one is accelerate performance, of course, and foster engagement. Needs assessment. So what is needs assessment? Needs assessment is all about identifying performance gap, no, in terms of desired performance, no, from the current performance. If there is a gap there, then most likely training is necessary. So in the needs assessment process, the first stage is the organizational analysis, in which you are trying or you will be analyzing, no, assessing the entirety of the organization in terms of strategies. If these strategies are still aligned with our mission and vision, or if these strategies are still feasible pa ba, workable, attainable, ganon, considering the changing circumstances along the way. Uh, from there, you will also compare it to the performance of the company. And if there is a gap there, in terms of performance in obtaining or in meeting the the mission and vision and the goals of the company, then the next stage will be the task analysis. In the task analysis, you will be assessing the necessary skills not to bridge those gaps that are being identified in the organizational analysis. So for example, after having a thorough analysis, you found out or the team has found out that the necessary skills that is needed to bridge the gap is computer skills. So for example, nakita no nga ang kulang ay computer skills. And then we will move on to the third stage is the person analysis. Person na siya di makita tabunan. So in the person analysis, in this stage, it involves identifying individuals to which employee is required to undergo training and which employees are not. So diri i-filter nimo kisa ang kinahanglan mo undergo og training og dili katong kulang og computer skills. Okay, so these are the stage, no? The organizational analysis. You will look into the strategies, the mission, vision, then compare to the performance, and there is a gap. Then proceed to the task analysis and identify what are the specific skills required not to bridge that gap. And if those skills are identified, for example, computer skills, then select or diagnose or identify those persons who are required or necessary that must undergo training. So ganon yung needs assessment, simplified one. In planning the training program, the first thing to do is to set an objective. So there must be an objective first. The same with lesson planning, di ba natin mga learning objectives. And these objectives must be smart. It must be specific. It must be measurable. It must be attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Ganon. Oh. To define it in line with training program, the training program must clearly define what the training aims to achieve. For example, of an objective is by the end of the training program, the 90% of participating senior bookkeepers will be able to effectively use the new accounting software to data management. For example, that is our objective, no? By the end of the training program, 90% of the participating senior bookkeepers will be able to effectively use the new accounting software to data or financial management. Ganon. And the next thing to do is to design the program. Or you could develop content that addresses the training objectives. Also may mga content that must be included or considered no to 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 achieve no in line with your objectives. It could be you could start with the basic no the basics of accounting software or the basics of the new accounting software. Pwede ganon yung content. And then it could be followed by the advanced features of the accounting software. And then it could be followed by the best practices no, in the financial management. And then pwede sumpayan dayon og katong hands-on practice of the accounting softwares. Pwede ka na ang content, no? Or design sa training program. And then you will proceed to the methods. Oh, and that method must be aligned with the design that you have conducted. It could be through OJT, on-the-job training, or e-learning, or it could be the on-site or face-to-face, or or the or the traditional training that we are used to. Pwede ganon. And then, set the logistics. Okay, schedule the training session. Kung kanus aman, And I believe no in our department, trainings, especially sa mga administrative unit, training must be conducted during off-peak or non-peak hours. Kaya dili ting busy, na wala kayo transaction. And usually sa first quarter na siya sa mga, that is February or March. At sometimes, kanang mga times nga vacation period sa mga teachers, pwede daraan mo ang training period nga i-conduct. As well as arrangement of the materials. What are the materials needed for the training? O kinahanglan ba nga na ay laptop, the projectors, the notebooks, the ball pens, and all the printers, and as well as the venue. Okay. And here are some of the training methods. The first one is the on-the-job training. And this training, or this one, is the training that we are most familiar with, the OJT, especially during our undergraduate studies, in which we were required to render some hours no, to complete the program in the on-the-job training. But in the actual workplace scenario, one example of an on-the-job training is through job rotation, in which the employee is performing different job roles or functions across the organization. So yun, ganun yung job rotation. Rotation. So palipat-lipat ng function. Okay. Another one is through apprenticeship and mentoring. Yung may junior, senior, yung may master, my apprentice, in which the master will work closely with the apprentice to guide the apprentice to prepare them for future roles. So, ganon. The second one is through off-the-job training. Kung may on-the-job, may off-the-job training, no? So, it means that everything that is outside your job nga training, that is off-the-job training. One example is a classroom training or enrolling to graduate studies. Just like this, no? This is an off-the-job training. A training happens outside the workplace. Another one is attending to workshops. It could be ikaw, personal ka mo bayad no, for workshop. No? That you will be having an interactive session with the trainers. Another one is e-learning. Uso na ni siya karon, especially during the pandemic, no, nanggawas ang mga e-learning services. And actually, I have already underwent one e-learning in which kanabitong a self-paced online course. I attend one before. Katong about training for admin for the employees within the educational sector, the non-teaching personnel in the educational sector. I attended that training. It was an online phase session in which I was given a 1 month to complete the course requirements. So na I provided ng mga videos and materials and everything. And within that month, dapat mahuman ako sa tanan na yung mga videos and all, and na yung mga outputs nga i-submit. And then, after I pass, then I get my certificate. So those are an examples of off-the-job training. Another one is the simulation and role playing. Simulation and role playing. I remember, I can still recall when I was still in the MDRRMC in the LGU, we had this training, nag-simulate me, simulation and role playing on how to save a drowning person or a drowned person nga lumos siya. So, kuanto siya BLSFA training, basic life support and first aid, in which amo i-mouth to mouth ang manikin, anak na mo dito and everything. Kalimot ako, dugay na to siya. So those are trainings that falls to simulation and role playing. Oh. Napoy ka nang sa mga uh, plane pilots, na ano sila, software. They have a software that will simulate the actual scenario of an airplane during kanang na mga mga issues during flight. So na mga simulation software nga murag tinuod pod. Oh, those are examples of simulation and role playing under training methods. The other one is through case studies and group discussions. In here, you will be encouraged to analyze the, the, the issues and evaluate and provide solutions. And also, it fosters engagement. So it is one of the trainings also, no, to enhance development, to be productive. Hindi mga brainstorming, mahitabo, ganon. Actually, meetings, mga ganon. It falls to group discussions and case studies. You will learn from case studies on how to approach a certain problem. Moving on to measuring results of training. So the training must be monitored, must be measured also in terms of effectiveness. Dili kay train lang walay measuring the performance of its effectiveness. And its importance is to ensure that, of course, no training effectiveness and return on investment, because training is costly and it must yield productive results. And unsa man yung mga productive results, it equates to the realization of your training objectives. So now return on investment. So the investment here, it could be the performance, no, that will render, that will be manifested, no, from your employees in the performance of their duties. That will in turn, in the long run, no, it will raise or add up to the performance of the company in an overall aspect. Of course, will increase the profit if it is a income generating organization. And the tools, no, the tools in measuring the result, measuring the training, or measuring results of training is through surveys. So you could have a questionnaire, no? Survey questionnaire, Likert scale, pwede ganon, no? Or a level of agreement, agree, disagree, mga ganon. It could be some sort of test. It could be through statistical test. Pwede ganon. Pwede ka mag-t-test to measure the difference before and after the intervention in terms of performance, speed, and accuracy. So actually, I will be conducting some t-test in this coming August in our training sa Cagayan with the administrative officers to ask my participants to measure their performance in terms of speed and accuracy in the preparation of service records. So nakoy plano ana para sa kuang research ko no hay. So those are one of the ways, no, to measure the effectiveness of training. Usa pa performance metrics, no, sa mua kay kanalagi IPCRF, no? And in the IPCRF nakasulat dito amo ang kanang key results area, kara ang term sa mua. So sa key results area, those are the specific performance that must be met with specific weighted score in terms of timeliness, quality, and sa pa to, kalimot ko. Okay. So those are some of the tools, no, in measuring training results. And we also have this Kirkpatrick's four-level model that is also be used in measuring the results of training. And the first one is to look for the reaction of the participants after the training. Are they happy? Are they satisfied with the training? How will you gauge that? Gawas sa facial expression nila, because sometimes facial expression is misleading and deceiving. Okay, so one of the ways, no, to measure or to know the reaction in terms of satisfaction after the training is through survey questionnaire. You could have set some level of agreement Oh, agree, disagree, strongly agree, strongly disagree, and all. And the next one is the learning. Have the participants acquired knowledge and skills after the training? And how will you gauge that? Put it on t-test, no? You could have pre-test and post-test to measure if they have acquired knowledge or and skills after the training. And after that, you move on to the third level, that is the behavior. So, katong mga nakatunan, the learnings, the knowledge and skills that they have learned during the training have all of them manifested in the actual work scenario? Na-apply ba siya sa actual work? Okay. So, what have they learned is applied ba sa work? So, the behavior in the workplace. You look into that through their results. Of course, no? Pag makita nimo if the speed in terms of submission of reports, in terms of speed and in terms of accuracy, walay sayop ang report, nagmanifest ba sa results? If there is, then it means that there is a return on investment. Okay. So those are these are the four level model of Kirkpatrick's. Oh, that is the reaction, the learning, the behavior, and the results. The next one is about development for careers. But how will you do this? How will you provide development for careers or for your employees as a principal, as an administrator, or a manager, or as an HR, or depending of what position that you hold in the supervisory level or managerial level? So the first one is you must provide continuous learning. Uh, You must be able to encourage them for an ongoing skill enhancement. So, well, how will you do this? No, of course, you provide them access to trainings, trainings that are no much possible if these trainings are shouldered by the management. Na dili pod costly sa part sa employees. So that is one way in encouraging ongoing skill enhancement. Oh. Some companies even sponsored pa yun, no, para i-educate to send their employees for higher learning. And send them for seminars, send them to represent the organization and all. Another one is to define potential career trajectories, no, within the organization or career path. Oh. In our department, the entry position for the teaching personnel is the teacher one. So lisod po, no, after years of experience, after years be, of being a teacher, mo retire na lang po do teacher one. So the management, the organization must be able to provide career trajectories, no, for career growth, career advancement. That is for development, short. So from teacher one, you could become teacher two, then climb up to teacher three. Then after that, you have you could proceed, or you could choose to go to become a master teacher or shift, no, to the administrative function of schools to become a school head or head teacher. Pwede ganon. Head teacher 1, head teacher 2, 3, and become principal 1, principal 2, and all. So those are the potential career trajectories in our department. And it is one way of encouraging the employees to climb up the ladder because it comes up with, of course, no higher compensation. But then again, with higher compensation, with higher authority, great, with comes with great responsibility. Moving on to the approaches to employee development. And one of the approaches here is through formal education. And this formal education is a more structured approach. No? It is a more structured approach towards employee development. It could be done no, by completing some courses. It could be online based or self-paced courses. It could be obtaining some certifications, no, trainings, or it could be completion of a degree. The same thing that I am pursuing right now. I enrolled to this program in the graduate studies. Hopefully, the things that I that I learned in this program will be applied or will be reflected to my job performance. Another approach also is through job experiences. No, by accepting challenging assignments, going outside my safe zone, it could contribute to employee development, to my employee, to my development, as well as job rotation. Oh, I already discussed this one. Another thing is interpersonal relationships or building a professional networks. In short, connections. Oh, it is important nowadays because sometimes it is not enough that you are doing well in your work, but it is more on or whom you know rather than the what you know, especially in the promotion, no? In government service. Yan na kayo kasagaran karon. Kasi lahat naman marunong sa trabaho. But kahit magaling ka, no, sometimes it matters on connections. And to support my claim about the benefits, the importance, the concepts, and all about training and development, here is the key results of a study entitled Training and Development of the Rank and File Employees Among Selected Hotels in Cebu Cities. And according to Nardo et al., every training method evaluated was highly effective. Oh, the program instructions was 3.8, job rotation 3.76, job simulation 3.73, role modeling 3.70, lecture 3.69, team training 3.62. So the lowest here is 3.62. And we'll look into the hypothetical ranges with its interpretation or descriptive equivalent 3.62. So it falls on number 4, the scale of number 4. So strongly agree that this method in the training program is very effective. And here are the key results from another study entitled English Proficiency Training Program for Pre-Service Teachers Development and Validation. And according to Patubo et al. 2015, the study concluded that respondents made significant errors in grammar, pronunciation, and fluency. And the training program was effective, with English professors showing significant agreement, in their assessments. And the overall proficiency or English proficiency of pre-service teachers improved from good to very good after completing the training program. Looking at the table 5, no, the results of Kendall's coefficient of concordance, the p-value is 0.041. Okay, and the alpha level here is at 0.05. So the decision here is the rejection of null hypothesis, that there is no significant agreement in the assessment of English professors on the acceptability of the English proficiency training program. So it was rejected. So it means there is a significant uh, agreement in the assessment of English professors. So that is a good result, no? And in the table 6, no, before and after. Look at the mean. No? In the reading, before it was poor. 1.93 equates to poor. No? And after the training, it becomes good. No? From poor to good. Speaking, the listening from good to very good. The same with the writing. And overall, from good performance after the training, it becomes very good. And here are the references of my anchored related studies that I've discussed. And that ends my presentation. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening in this 40-minute presentation. Okay, so that would be all. Thank you once again.